Hello and a very warm welcome to this special. Today we are talking about the match between two teams that have been constantly at the top of the points table in the IPL so far. Sunrisers Hyderabad versus Gujarat Titans. Sunrisers Hyderabad's start wasn't good, but since then have gone on to win 5 matches on the trot. For Gujarat Titans, they've just lost one game, and that was in fact to Sunrisers Hyderabad. Hardik Pandya in supreme form with the bat, the ball. Yes, after the injury, he hasn't been bowling, but a lot will depend on how the two captains play tonight. Nikhil Narayan's here with me. Nikhil, one major thing about both these teams is the similarity in how they've gone about with their bowling. Brilliant bowling, be it their average or their economy, they've been the best in the tournament.
Absolutely. Two of the best bowling units in the tournament, and two teams who have surprised us by being in the position they are in at the halfway stage. No one expected them to be at the number 2 and number 3 position. I, in fact, expected them to be in the bottom half of the table. So two teams who've made, maximized their resources. They have limited resources. They've maximized their resources. The batting is still, I would say, not at par with other teams. But whatever resources they have in the batting, whether it's a David Miller, whether it's a Hardik Pandya, they've gotten the best out of them, and it's clicking. Yeah. And it's just a success story for both of them. In the first half of the IPL, which none of us saw coming.
I mean, the batting is, there are these loopholes even with Gujarat Titans. Shubman Gill and Hardik Pandya have performed consistently, but then the others, 5, 6, 7 is Tewatia. There is Rashid Khan there as well. So also it'll come down to the two batting sides in this match. How does the batting do against what has been, like Nikhil and I were saying, the best bowling attacks, be it Gujarat Titans or Sunrisers Hyderabad. Now let's take a look at the likely playing 11 for the two teams, and then we'll get into the specifics. So let's start with Gujarat Titans. The likely playing 11 for Gujarat Titans, of course. How good have they been? The bowling especially, Lockheed Ferguson, Mohammad Shami, Alzari Joseph's been bowling well, Khardik Pandya. The only thing, Nikhil, that's a bit of a worry for Gujarat Titans is Hardik Pandya not bowling after that groin injury. How big is that injury? Whether he'll be able to bowl in the tournament, there are those questions, because when he was bowling, Gujarat Titans were unstoppable. He was everywhere in the field. And then, of course, the other problem being, yes, you have Shubman Gill, but the partner. They haven't had a partner who can consistently give you runs with Shubman Gill at the top.
Absolutely. So they have a few superheroes who are doing very well. Shubman Gill, David Miller, Pandya with the bat, and the bowling has done, has worked as a team. But Hardik Pandya not bowling, as you asked, is a big sort of puts a question mark, because he was giving them a couple of overs in the power play. In fact, he was the most restrictive bowler in the tournament in the power play. His economy was less than 5. And he was bowling with pace. He was crossing 140 kilometers per hour. So it was just giving that balance to the team. Alzari Joseph is a very good addition, though. He still has the best figures in IPL history, 6 for 12. And otherwise, Mohammad Shami, Rashid Khan. So they have a very potent, bowling unit. Lockheed Ferguson, excellent bowling unit.
Yes.
And I think, therefore, this is a contest of two of the best bowling units, and therefore, whichever teams bats better, I think, will win this contest.
That's right. Okay, now let's also take a look at Sunrisers Hyderabad's probable playing 11. And again, with Sunrisers Hyderabad, the turnaround has been fantastic. For all Sunrisers Hyderabad fans, this is a wonderful story so far. Kane Williamson leading from the front, At one point you felt Kane Williamson's not getting runs, but then he's been consistent for them. In the top order, Abhishek Sharma, Rahul Tripathi, who's been doing well, Aiden Markram, who's batted well. The only problem is with Washington Sundar, who would miss some matches. Will he be back? Will he be okay to play? That's one concern. And then you want Nicholas Puran. You've seen Shimron Hetmeyer do what was expected of him for Rajasthan Royals. Can Nicholas Puran do the same for Sunrisers Hyderabad? But in that team, the one name, Nikhil, that stands out for me is T. Natarajan, and not just for Sunrisers Hyderabad, but just looking at the Indian team for the future, for even the T20 World Cup, your left-arm pacer and the way he's bowling right now.
Absolutely
brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. And Rajan has already taken 15 wickets in 7 matches, Maya. No one has taken more wickets in the power play than Natarajan. He's also the third highest wicket taker in the death. So he's doing the job with the new ball and in the death overs. Williamson has done well in the tournament, but I think the two standout batsmen for them have been Rahul Tripathi and Aiden Markram. Rahul Tripathi has scored over 200 runs at a strike rate of 175. So he has just taken his batting to a not only one gear high, to a couple of notches than what he was doing last season for KKR, where he was also scored 400 runs at a strike rate of 140. So Rahul Tripathi has been again, the unsung hero. He's a very understated player. Doesn't sort of doesn't have that much of a, what should I say, a persona on the field, but he does the job very effectively. Aiden Markram has also scored 190 runs, strike rate above 150. So he's also been doing very well with the bat. But the story for them, the success story, has revolved around their bowling. Natarajan has led them with the ball. Marco Jansen, 6 wickets, brilliant in the last match. Sundar, before he got injured, actually was one of the most effective all-rounders. He played a cameo of 40. He was striking above 200 with the bat. He picked 4 wickets. He was restrictive. And then Umran Malik, who started off very, conceding a lot of runs, especially in the death overs. Now he's, in the recent matches, he's made a comeback, given one match-winning performance, picked 10 wickets. And Bhuvneshwar Kumar also quietly but effectively has been doing his job. He's not been in the headlines, but 9 wickets at an economy of less than 7.5. I think Bhuvi has done his job once again for SRH, as he did in 2017, 2018 very effectively. So yes, I mean, overall, still some concerns in batting, I would say. Nicholas Puran now needs to fire. He needs to do what was expected to him, what Shimran Hetmaya has done. But otherwise, still some loopholes in batting, but the bowling has been pulling them through. So it's going to be interesting.
Okay, now time for our Fantasy 11. What is the team that we think that will get you points? Now, before we get to our Fantasy 11, just remember to exercise caution. This has risks involved while you play any kind of fantasy game, Fantasy 11, because there is some financial risk involved. So please exercise caution. Now let's get straight into the Fantasy 11. And when Hardik Pandya is playing in this tournament, you've got to not just have him in the team, but you also have to keep him as a captain. We still don't know whether he's going to be bowling today, but we're going to take that risk. And of course, you may want to change this. This is before the toss. Before the playing 11s of the two teams. This is just for now. This is what we think is the right fantasy guide for you. So, Hardik Pandya, the captain, Nikhil.
Absolutely. Hardik Pandya has been one of the highest impact players of the tournament. Promoting himself to number 4, initially playing the role of the anchor, then showcasing he still has the hitting prowess as he had for Mumbai in 2019 and 20. Also very restrictive in the power play with the ball, opening with the new ball. So, brilliant captaincy, innovative changes. The only captain who decided to bat first, so he's setting a trend in this tournament. So Hardik Pandya has proven everyone wrong. I mean, he's by far, I think, the best captain in this tournament also. So he has to be in the Fantasy 11 as a captain.
Also 295 runs at an average of 73.75. This is also his home ground, Wankhede Stadium. They have not played here yet, so that'll be interesting to watch. Okay, then next up is Shubman Gill for Gujarat Titans. And again, for Shubman Gill, Nikhil, I think it's pure joy to watch him bat. And when he's in full flow, which we've seen him more than a couple of times in this tournament.
I mean, thank God he's focusing on his strike rate, because for KKR, he was just, he'd gotten into a rut. I think it was almost, it's a self-imposed restriction that I won't play at, at a certain pace. And he was striking in the mid-120s for them. It was adversely affecting the team. Now look at his transformation this season. He's striking at 160 plus and 2 match-winning knocks already. And this is the real Shubman Gill. Shubman Gill doesn't need to bat like Prithvi Shaw. He doesn't take risks, but he still scores very quickly. And one of the most talented domestic batsmen India has. And we've already seen in Australia when he made his Test debut. What he did. So Shubman Gill is now showing his class in the T20 format.
Okay, then we move on to Rahul Tripathi. Nikhil just talked about his strike rate, and that is phenomenal for somebody who's really been the unsung hero in this IPL so far for any side, to see that he's actually been striking at 175, scoring 212 runs and consistent average of 53 strike rate even gets better against pace, 181. Phenomenal from him. And this, again, for Sunrisers Hyderabad, it was important because, at one point when their top order wasn't doing well, they were struggling. They'd lost 2 games on the trot, but the turnaround has been largely due to Kane Williamson, Abhishek Sharma and Rahul Tripathi, and Rahul Tripathi stands out in that for being most consistent.
Absolutely. I mean, the Rahul Tripathi story has been, no one, he never makes the headlines, but he's been doing this job, day in and day out. He did it for KKR and he's repeated. He's only gotten better this year with his ability to strike the ball, and this makes him a match winner in the top 3.
Okay, then let's move on. The next player on that list is Nicholas Puran. Again, we know what Nicholas Puran can do. And that's why I think Nicholas Puran is a risky pick, because he hasn't really got off, he hasn't scored as many runs. He hasn't given you those performances that he's known for around the world. But maybe today is the day when he will do it.
He's already showed us in one of the IPLs seasons, a couple of seasons ago, what he can do with the bat. And his strike rate is one of the highest in IPL history for a middle order batsman. So Nicholas Puran, by far, amongst all West Indies batsmen who are playing this tournament, whether it's a Shimron Hetmeyer or Rovman Powell, Puran is by far the most talented. There's no doubt about it. It's just that he hasn't clicked in this tournament. But it is business end is now. It is high time he does that.
Okay, then next up is South African David Miller, and how good has he been in this season? 220 runs in 7 innings, average of 73.3, strike rate of 157. One match just turned the match around on its head. Just one person winning that match for Gujarat Titans. Superb.
Absolutely, and that's what that brilliant 94 he made. That's what you expect from David Miller. So he won't be very consistent. He can't do that, because of the high risk he takes. He cannot do that day in and day out. But even if he can do it, I think 3 or 4 times in a season of 14, 15 matches, he's done his job. And I think in this tournament, David Miller at least looks like doing that, and therefore David Miller becomes very important in the middle order.
Then Aiden Markram for Sunrisers Hyderabad. Again, Sunrisers Hyderabad, they've always followed this, Nikhil. They don't have superstars really. They've also always got, and that's why Kane Williamson fits this idea of this team, because he's this quiet, calm, just goes about doing his job, no show around him. Aiden Markram also fits that bill. He's a wonderful batsman, and we've seen him in the tournament. When he bats, he just can get runs. He's just, he looks good, and he's scoring runs consistently again for them. Yeah,
he and Rahul Tripathi. I mean, he's scored now 200 runs at a strike rate of 150. He's batting beautifully in the middle overs, and he is one of the reasons why SRH's batting is afloat in this tournament, along with Rahul Tripathi. So very understated player even for South Africa. But Aiden Markram is doing the job for SRH.
And a team player. He doesn't mind being pushed up the order, bring him down. He plays at a different position even for South Africa, but he's okay batting anywhere, and he's been giving you runs. Okay, then is Rahul Tewatia. Naam to suna hoga. We said this even after the auction, Rahul Tewatia, can he do it again? But he has done it in a couple of games. And I think if he can do it for, like you said, even for David Miller, if he can do it for a couple of more games, he would have done his job. And Rahul Tewatia is in that similar boat.
Absolutely. Rahul Tewatia is like a freak of nature, and his ability to hit sixes is a very special ability. Not everyone has that ability to lift the ball. So he's done it again. So he's not a one-season show. Also, he's very good with his leg spins. He can chip in with a couple of overs every game. So it makes him a very high utility player in a fantasy team.
Okay, then next up is T. Natarajan, and how good has he been? Again, a wonderful story for what he did in Australia, to what he's doing here now. I mean, with this kind of form and the way he's been bowling, not just in the power plays, but in the death overs, even in the middle overs, he's got 3 wickets. I see him being selected for the upcoming series against South Africa.
Absolutely. 15 wickets, 7 matches. No one's taken more wickets in the power play. Only a couple of bowlers taken more in the death. He's not conceding many runs. He's bowling those Yorkers are back. Yorker Natarajan is back. India needs a left armer. And
moving the ball in the middle of the game.
Absolutely, and he was the left armer for India, when he had a great season in Australia. Then he lost his touch in the last IPL, but I think he's now back. He's back.
Okay, then is Mohammad Shami again in the power plays. How often have we seen Mohammad Shami just steaming in, bowling, unplayable deliveries? He's got wickets in the power play as well. One of the main reasons, especially right at the start of the tournament, one of the reasons that made Gujarat Titans just win match after match is how well their bowling came about, and Mohammad Shami was the key player in that.
Absolutely. Shami has picked 10 wickets at an economy of less than 7.5, which means he's also bowling with a lot of control. 6 of his 10 wickets have been in the power play, which means he's been exceptional with the new ball. Also, he has a very interesting matchup with Kane Williamson. He's dismissed him some 4 times in the head-to-head record in not many innings. 4 times in 10 T20 innings, only 66 runs in 47 balls. So that will be a very interesting battle in the power play.
Okay, then another person we want to see bowl every time he is playing is Rashid Khan. He is also the vice captain, Nikhil. He's like an evergreen performer.
I mean, he has to be in any IPL fantasy or any IPL team. Rashid Khan's name has to be there.
Yeah.
So because again, so he's picked 8 wickets. Economy is again 6.5, and you will see this. If you see his career, he will never concede more than 6.5, 6.7 runs per over. Just the Mr. Consistent in the middle overs. Also, a fighter. He will try to win you matches with the bat. Also, he can produce the odd cameo. Just a fantastic player.
Okay, then the last player on that list is Lockheed Ferguson, the fastest bowler in the tournament. There's a healthy rivalry there between him and Umran Malik for that fastest ball of the tournament. But yeah, he is one of the fastest. He's taken 9 wickets, 7 games, economy of 8.32, and again 6 wickets in 6 overs in power play this season at an average of 8.66.
Absolutely. So one of the reasons.
Imagine. Yeah. Both Mohammad Shami and Ferguson in the power plays.
Which makes Titans so formidable. So Lockheed Ferguson, he had a great season last year also in the UAE leg. He was absolutely brilliant, and he just continued from there. Just raw pace, intimidating at your throat. He actually bowls what is body line. I mean, which was banned before, but now you can bowl body line, and he does that. I mean, the ball is short of a length, it bounces, it comes to your throat. It's very difficult to play. He's a very, very difficult customer to play with the new ball, especially when he's bowling at 150 kilometers per hour.
So there you have it. That's our Fantasy 11 guide for you. Again, if you think that we should have made some changes, to let us know in the comment section. What do you make of this? Whether you think this team is good enough, that also please do comment in the comment section below. So at the end of it, Gujarat Titans versus Sunrisers Hyderabad, the first match that they played in this IPL. Sunrisers Hyderabad beat Gujarat Titans. In fact, that's the only match that Gujarat Titans have lost. In that, the thing that I remember is Sunrisers Hyderabad, their batting exploding. Which we'd not seen in the tournament till then. But then suddenly you had Kane Williamson scoring runs. You had
Nicholas
Abhishek
Puran
Sharma,
scored a cameo.
Correct. Nicholas Puran scored runs. Rahul Tripathi scored runs. Everybody wanted to score runs against Gujarat Titans. What will it be tonight? Gujarat Titans will want to avenge that loss, Nikhil.
Absolutely.
And what are you expecting from today's game?
SRH don't have a great record at the Wankhede Day. They've lost just on 1 of 7 games they've played there. I think Titans has a better batting unit. Even if the bowling units are at par, I think the Titans have a better batting unit. Therefore, for me, it's Titans tonight.
The other thing being that we all still are wondering about whether teams, after winning the toss, would want to bat first here. Do you think that if Hardik Pandya, given that he has, he went against the trend and batted first and won that match, will he want to do that again today?
I think Hardik will do that. I'm not sure about Kane Williamson. I think Hardik will do that for sure because, he's already tasted success. And I think Hardik is a trendsetter in his own way.
Hardik Pandya has been superb. I mean, there are a few players in this tournament who've proved everybody wrong. And it's everybody who watches cricket to former cricketers, analysts, and people came out and said Hardik Pandya, the captain, he doesn't have the leadership qualities. He's been a superb captain for them. At no point in this tournament so far have you seen Hardik Pandya make a wrong decision when it comes to, rotating the bowlers, field placement. So he's been superb, and Gujarat have been winning. Similarly, Dinesh Karthik has proved everybody wrong. Shimron Hetmeyer has proved everybody wrong. So there are these players who've actually gone and performed even when no one expected them to. And that's why IPL is fun and interesting to watch. But that's it from Nikhil and me. News9 Sports is what you need to subscribe to if you want the latest from the world of sports. And at 6:30 we'll be live on TV9 Bharatvarsh. वो हिंदी में होगा. इसी मैच के बारे में बात करेंगे, टॉस के बारे में बात करेंगे, probable playing 11 क्या होंगी, उनके बारे में बात करेंगे. And then at 7 o'clock we'll be back on News9 Sports and News9 Digital discussing the match that will be played tonight at the Wankhede Stadium between Gujarat Titans and Sunrisers Hyderabad. तो अभी के लिए that's it from us. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.